Hey, everybody, once again, welcome back to episode number 9 of Internet Traffic Kings. I'm your host, John Fondi, the Big Fabu, and I'll tell you, things are starting to move out here, not only in this industry, but all around. And we're seeing the significant changes taking place for the better. And we've got some great guests, always the best guests that we have that have different topics every single week. So as we do this every single week, we want you to kind of tune in and be a part of it. And of course, this particular episode and all the episodes are non-advertiser supported. So how can you help us? Well, you can get involved with this. And we want you to go to Apple Podcast, go to Spotify, YouTube, Internet Traffic Kings, and you can rate us. And if you rate us, we want you to rate us 5 stars, and that's going to help us a lot and help keep the show growing, if you will. And I'm currently in Las Vegas, as you can probably tell. And the reason I've changed this background is things are starting to open up a little bit. I say a little bit, but they are opening up now. And that's kind of a great thing to see. So that's why we've changed the background. And I want to thank all of you people for joining in. But more than that, I want to thank our executive producer, Kevin DiVincenzi, for being with us. Kevin, how's your week, man?
It's been good, John. I'm excited with the country opening back up. I mean, clients are back. Over 90% of our clients are now back spending money again. So I think it's everybody's optimistic, which is good.
Well, I think that is. And in fact, here in Las Vegas on Thursday of next week, I'm doing the first live show here in Las Vegas with a live audience. And so
wow.
We'll be the first group to do that particular live show. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of attention out of that. Venetian is going to open up on June 1st as well, one of the first full-blown casinos. And hopefully we'll be setting some of the pace for the rest of what's taking place here as well.
So, John, what precautions are they taking? Are they spacing the seating, and how many people are you expecting?
Yeah, they're spreading everything out, 25% of your occupancy in there, right. Limited traffic. Can't walk through a casino to get to a restaurant. And you mentioned last week, the restaurant industry is probably going to still suffer because the amount of people that you can service in there, the numbers aren't going to work out.
No, they're not going to work out. And they also just released a stat that 57% of businesses, restaurants that are closed 2 months are not going to come back. And again, as you know, all stats are, made up on the fly in a sense, but, it's going to happen. You're not going to have these restaurants. They can't sustain. Plus, the way the stimulus is set up, it's cheaper for employees to stay home. They'll make more money than to run a business. And if you're running a restaurant at 17% gross margin, it's never going to make sense to open up at 33% occupancy.
No, with those kind of numbers, and
It'll never work.
And even if you turn seats, you're not going to be able to turn seats that fast to run the people through there. So the whole experience is basically going to change and all that. So anyway, from a business standpoint, you say that things are kind of changing a little bit. What is the industry saying to you out there?
That's a really good question. I mean, you've got two ends of it. You've got one end of people that are really excited and looking for new opportunities, and you've got the other end of people that are like, oh, poor me, I really can't do anything. I mean, just rely on what you know and keep moving forward. We're very fortunate to be in internet marketing, John, so we can, we can be involved in a lot of things that, we still have the opportunity to work from home and to still grow and prosper where other people can't. The guy that owns a little restaurant can't do anything right now, except maybe do takeout service. And
I'm seeing a lot of commercials out there now about, hey, how to learn the internet business and how to be an IT person and all of that stuff. And
now is a great time to learn. I speak to a lot of people not in the industry and say, so what are you doing with your time? Oh, well, I'm just watching TV. Well, that's great. You could be learning. You could be getting a degree online. You could be, learning a different tool, or our guest Neil Patel on today. You could be learning how to optimize your sites, learn SEO, learn different tools and different tricks, so that you have something of value.
That's a good point. I mean, if you just made contact with the guest that we had on this show, that's a life-changing experience. And the information you're going to get, this is $1,000 an hour worth of experience and stuff that you're going to get on these shows, and the best of the best. And we couldn't do the show without them. So Kevin, you've done a great job reaching out to the people that will still talk to you. And we have some fun with it though. And I think that's the key that we have. We got the big dog, Bennett Kelly's going to be with us today. So he talks about what's going on and what's grooving in his world and what we should look out for. But we're going to take the time now to bring on our featured guest, Neil Patel from neilpatel.com. He's a CEO influencer, and you got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our audience, because you've got your finger on the pace of what's going on, and you've been able to create, recreate, change, and grow. Let's talk about that story a little bit as we kind of get into Neil Patel a little bit. And thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, good. So something that you've been doing for a while is you've been also building businesses and increasing your span out there. What makes you change? What makes you grow? And what are some of those signals to make those changes?
Sure. So the way I look at when it comes to growth is I look at growth right now in life and even in business as spaghetti. You take spaghetti, you throw it against the wall, you see if it sticks, it's good, right? If it doesn't, it's not good. I take the same approach with growth and marketing and business and adapting, especially to times when things like COVID is around, right? Strategies, tactics, what used to work may not work. I throw it against the wall, you test things, and if it works, great. If not, you adjust your strategy. And a great example of this is pre-COVID, paid ads cost way more than they did right now. And some industries like e-commerce are booming, but we're finding that paid ads are cheaper. They started going back up, but they're still cheaper than during pre-COVID times. So in some industries, we weren't able to get pay-per-click to be profitable when now it is, right? It's that concept of you throw spaghetti against the wall, if it sticks, you keep going until it works.
You know, what I like, Neil, is that you're giving out a lot of free content too. You're giving out, your SEO Unlocked course. You're giving out a lot of content so people can learn just by building value, which is great. I know you're doing it. I saw Ryan Dice from Digital Marketing's doing it. And it's great because now people can get these tools and learn, and you can provide value at this time, which is awesome.
It's a key way to win, because it's like most people look at content, advice, sales, and business as how can I sell something and generate money?
Right.
I look at it the approach as how can I help people, put them first, and then eventually figure out how to make money after I've helped them first.
That's an awesome approach. We do the same thing. Just provide value first and figure out where you can provide value before looking at where you can make the money. So that's great advice.
Well, Kevin, you're a prime example of that, where you've taken your knowledge and your time and stuff, and you're willing to do one-on-ones with people and really help them through some of the challenges and stuff. And that's gotta be something that you can pass on to your family. And it is, you go out and you do good things, you do stuff you like, the money will always follow. You know?
Absolutely. Yep. Do what you're passionate about, and always look to do better for people. That's a main goal of mine personally.
And Neil, one of the things that we've been talking about is pivoting, being able to be limber and make some changes and stuff in your life, and actually being able to take the time to go out there and learn a new craft, even if you don't stay with it. But you'll never succeed if you don't try something or you successfully try to research it and do some research, like Kevin said, rather than sitting at home watching Three's Company or whatever the case may be. Try to do something. And Neil, I did a lot of research on you as well, and you're no stranger to giving out advice, and that's very commendable of you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then testing. John, it's the business that we're in. It's so easy to test a concept and to put yourself out there. And I can speak for myself, and I'm sure Neil will probably say the same thing. I can try 100 things and 80 may fail. And the 80 that fail, I'll look at the 80 that failed and see, is it close? Is it something I can tweak? Is it a change I can make? Is it ad copy? And the 20 that win, I would have never found those if I didn't test those 100. So it's just about putting yourself out there, testing, and we're in a unique position with internet marketing where we can just test like now. We spoke about it with Rick Bennick a few shows back. Yeah. We can take a concept, us four on the podcast right now, put $50 in Google ads, and by the end of the afternoon already have some results and say, okay, here's what I would tweak, here's what I could do. And then we can record the users. There's so many different tools we can use to understand the path. Whereas, in an old conventional way, you have to write an ad, get it in print, wait for the results, see if the phone rings. Now it's instantaneous. So it's I feel very blessed that we're able to do that.
Well, and
Yeah, you
that's
have real-time data and you can tweak in real time too, right? Even if it
Absolutely.
doesn't work, most people look at an experiment like, this is good. Well, what did you
Right.
learn from it, and can you tweak it and make it work
Right.
by making a few simple changes?
For sure.
well. Again,
See,
want to remind
spaghetti
everyone.
sticks on the wall, John.
That's right. It's lunchtime. I'm getting hungry right now. So and we can order out and order in now. So
Yeah.
it's so the with everything that's kind of going on and taking place now, we start to see these changes and stuff. One of the things that we talked about, Neil, was it was getting ready for the change, bring yourself up to speed and know the direction you're going to go and the time that you're going to pull that trigger on where you go after you've done this research and stuff. And so before we head over to Bennett Kelly, is there anything you want to share with our audience, some of the things that you're doing and some of the things that you like our audience to know?
Yeah, check out, we have a freemium marketing tool called Uber Suggest. It helps you get traffic, and you can do a lot with it for free.
I use it.
So
Love
that
it.
way you don't have to spend a ton of money. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about it. You know, putting yourself out there, but putting other people first. And but we want you to stick around. We're going to try to get you back on here for some closing thoughts. Before we do that, we're going to go to the big dog. We're talking about Bennett Kelly. Bennett's overlooking Central Park, I think, or something like that.
No, it's downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, mini Central Park, if you will. But so now that things are starting to open up a little bit more, Bennett, what are you seeing is taking place, and is it fake or is it real?
Well, I mean, things are starting to open up, but most people are still working from home. Even companies that are opening up, they're telling their employees, work from home for the rest of the year, or some are even saying permanently. So since people are at home and they're doing a lot of stuff online, you're seeing a tick up in online fraud. And one area of fraud that's become popular is in the Bitcoin area. Mm-hmm. And they're using celebrity presentations, and they're going live with them and saying that, for example, celebrities like Michael Bloomberg are giving away Bitcoin if you just send so much Bitcoin to this address, we'll send back a greater amount. And it's a complete fraud, and so it's getting a lot of attention. The way to first of all, the number one rule is if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Sure.
Right.
The second thing is look at the source. And so there was one case, it was a Steve Wozniak, and they clicked on the YouTube link, and the guy had no videos whatsoever, but had 200,000 followers. So this was clearly set up just to be,
the challenge is people follow, right? So Neil, I don't know if you've seen this going on YouTube. So basically these guys are mimicking celebrities, as Bennett had said, and they're going live. And some of these channels, YouTube has kept up for 24 hours and they're trending. So when you go to YouTube's homepage, it says, Joe Rogan. So that's when I first caught this last week. Joe Rogan's live. So I'm like, that's interesting, 50,000 people watching. And they're playing off the Bitcoin halving. So they're saying, oh, Bitcoin's halving. We want to give it back 5,000 Bitcoins. And they put a wallet address up there. And basically what they're doing is telling people send, from 0.01 Bitcoin up to 5 Bitcoin and we'll double it. And, with the contacts I have, we looked into the wallet, and the last I looked, just that one video had 286 transactions.
Wow.
And again, totally anonymous. Yeah, I'll email you some data I picked up on it, Neil. It's fascinating that they're getting away with this, and it's been going. I mean, I've watched some of these channels up for 24 hours before YouTube pulls them down. It's crazy.
So that's why you click on the link. You look at what else they have.
Well, the other unique thing they're doing, Bennett, is they're taking footage from, let's say it was Neil, right? Let's say they did it to Neil's page, God forbid. They're taking when Neil spoke about Bitcoin at any time. So they're playing that video live, like you're talking about it live.
And then having their offer next to it.
Overlaying it with the offer. It's
exactly. They did that.
I hate to use the word brilliant, but it's a fucking amazing scam, right? I mean, and that's the thing is people have to be diligent and use your common sense. And
I think, Bennett, also now that things are kind of coming back around, we may be start to see even more scams are going to take place now because
Oh, for
people
sure.
are loosening up a little bit.
Well, I think there's two factors here. The fact that everyone's online more so than ever. So
Yeah.
a lot of people who may not have been aware of some of the scams that are gone by in the past. And then, there's more at stake. People see something that says, make money and they're unemployed. Well, that's going to be very attractive. And so that's the challenge. In hard times, people often try to exploit.
Mhm.
And it's just an unfortunate tale of human nature.
And we've got more and more elderly people that are kind of getting involved in this as well, and they're getting themselves set up for some of the oldest and easiest scams are out there, but because they're just getting into this now, they're
Sure.
pretty vulnerable and pretty easy to take advantage of.
Yeah, and there's another scam going on is that with all the identity theft that has occurred, there was an article recently about a Nigerian group that is using all the identities they stole to apply for unemployment insurance in multiple states.
Wow.
And, there's some sizable sums that are being diverted because of that.
Yep. So I think that is the case, and so I think we lost Neil's video there. There we
He's
go
back.
back.
He's back.
I know you're up against a time clock here, Neil, and we respect that, and so we're gonna change our format a little bit. We want to give you some last and some closing thoughts before you have to take off.
No worries. So you want me to just go and give some last bits of advice or thoughts, or?
Yeah, just some last bits of advice and just talk to us from the heart. Yes.
So here's something that I've been doing that's been working really well that I hope more people do in the next upcoming years. I think this is where the biggest opportunity is. When COVID hit, my business definitely saw a big revenue loss. It sucks, but it's a reality. Well. There's people who are much more less fortunate and who are struggling much more. One thing that's really helped us keep us afloat and that's caused growth is international expansion. So we're not just relying on one city or one region. We're global, and you don't have to have global offices. Using hreflang by Google, you can translate your site into multiple languages and find people on Upwork to help with the translations. And what we found is it's like literally in some cases like 7-8 times more easy to get traffic in some of these other countries. They're not English speaking. And when you're doing transactions online, like selling ebooks and stuff like that, you don't have to be in every location. Right. And what we quickly saw is even if those countries don't have as good of a GDP or have the spending power, because it's not competitive on the internet, you can just really dominate and clean up really quickly.
That's great. What was that link again, Neil?
It's just hreflang. So hreflang allows you to tell Google, hey, this section of my site is in Portuguese for Brazil, so rank it there. And this site is US English. This area is for UK or France or whatever it may be.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Love to have you back on the show again as things kind of ferret out a little bit more and talk about the things that are taking place. We've been covering some of the tough times that we've had up to this particular point. We want to make sure we have you back when things have kind of settled down a little bit and see what kind of changes you've made, some new friends that you've helped, and some of the new projects that you've got going on. So Neil Patel from neilpatel.com. Is that one of the best places to get in touch with you?
That is.
That is. So we'll try to drive people there for you as well. And we can give you just a few minutes to get to your next call. Thank you again so much for
Thank you, Neil. Really appreciate
being out
it.
here. It's excellent information. And by the way, we wish you the best and just keep on giving because it'll keep coming back to you. Our thought for the day here, if you will oblige us.
Well, thank you guys very much. You guys have a wonderful day.
You too, Neil. Thank you.
Awesome. And we've got him in the house, of course. We're talking about Darren D. Money. Good to have you back on the show. You always seem to have something great to tell us about. Catch us up, man. The most inaugural event that's ever going to happen is going to be happening here very shortly. Catch us up real quick, if you wouldn't mind.
Hey, the first thing I have to say, I was going to say, I am hearing so much buzz about this show right now. Literally everywhere, every forum, every chat room. You're doing a great job, Darren, because I'm just hearing about it everywhere and really excited to be an exhibitor.
Hey, I'm
to say that.
I'm glad it's getting seen. Let me just say that because,
Nice.
we have a pretty big database already with all of our past guests of the affiliate ball. But in addition to that, we're also targeting very heavily to that list on Facebook. So
Nice.
a lot of people that are watching the show are probably saying, damn, I see them everywhere right now. That's because we pretty much got you on Facebook too. So yeah, we're going to have a big turnout, expect
Great.
thousands of people to show. This is cutting edge. It's different. It's not like it existed before this one. This is actually the very first of its kind. So it's more than just speakers. And a lot of people probably didn't even realize till now that we have speakers. But we have speakers with a very wide range of topics. I'd start rattling them off, but I don't want to play favorites. Go to the site. I mean, maybe, Kevin, you know a few off the top of your head. I know, like I said, I would start naming them, but I can't play
Yeah,
favorites.
no, that's fine. And we actually do want to get you on after the event as well to hear how phenomenal that is, because I'm really curious.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really close to showtime. So I'm just excited because we're going to have a lot of little hangout spots now. So a lot of people want to be able to chat. They're anxious to go face to face again. So we're going to give that opportunity with multiple coffee shops and bars where we're not going to overcrowd people. I think limiting it to like 20 people at a time to make sure you don't talk over each other. And you might still talk over a little bit, but I think it's manageable. But you'll meet some people, and then there's a networking lounge, and we got a nightclub. And a trade show floor is going to set the bar. I mean, now you can actually see people. And when people show up at somebody's booth, they're all just going to be in their text chat window. So the only people you'll see at the booth will be the people who own the booth.
Well, that's awesome,
great.
man. So we hope to have you come back. Give out that address again one more time.
It's the virtualdigitalexpo.com.
Okay.
And it's still
Okay,
free. So sign up while
it's still free to register. That's amazing, because I saw there was another virtual show, I forget the name, that just popped up. That's like $59.95, and they have like 4 exhibitors. How's your exhibitors going? How many do you have, Darren?
We have a lot. I remember we had like over 46 or 47 exhibitors.
That's great.
So we're almost sold out of the exhibitor hall floor. So,
Awesome.
but I will welcome some more people if you're watching that you can still get a spot. Hit us up.
That sounds good. Okay, well,
awesome.
we want you to check in with us next week as well. So keep that in mind. And thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. And we'll have you back next week.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys.
Darren. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job.
So this thing's really kind of coming together. Who would have known,
No, I know. I'm really impressed. Like I said, I'm hearing a lot of buzz on it, and I think it's going to be a great event. So, Bennett, I have to ask, tell me about the dog in your background.
So today is National Rescue Dog Day. So this is our dog Gidget, who's part of, she's also a rescue. But I do have some tips and news for you to share.
Okay.
There's been a study that found that the states adopting texting bans has led to a 29% drop in teenage car crashes, death rates.
Wow.
So, don't text and drive. And if your state isn't one of the ones to adopt one, urge them to do so, because it's saving teenagers' lives.
Well, look what
It's amazing. Speaking of, sorry, John, for talking over you. Speaking of bans, there's a ban on telemarketing in the state of New York as well, because of the state of emergency until the end of September. I don't know if you're aware of that, Bennett.
No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. We know because of our pay-per-call division. You cannot dial anybody in the state of New York on telemarketing until I think it's the end of September.
I wonder what the logic of that is.
I think it falls under the state of emergency, but that's what I was told, and we just made sure that we blocked all our partners from dialing New York.
Plus everybody's home now, and it's like nothing more.
Right. So you are seeing an uptick in response rates as far as outbound dialing. That's been happening for 8 weeks now. But obviously, with not being able to dial them, that's interesting to see how it's going.
I've still been calling and asking to speak to Mr. Wall.
Mr. Wall. There you go.
Prince Albert.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of rescue dogs, we've got the big dog Bennett Kelly here, and we rescued him and brought him on the show, and we're having some fun, some great information, and so any closing thoughts that you might have, Bennett, on what's taking place in your industry? We talked about fraud before, but any good things you're seeing out there?
Well, I think the good thing is you're seeing a lot of people realize the importance of the internet. And this may lead to a push to expand internet access, especially in rural areas. as schools had to do education remotely, for
Right.
those who weren't connected. Now there might be greater emphasis on making sure those people are connected, and that could be a
Sure.
good thing.
And
Which
Kevin,
should be also good for the industry.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Kevin, what I'm hearing a lot of is this homeschool thing is having some challenges, not only with the education value, but if people then start going back to work and the schools aren't open, I think we're in trouble.
That's the challenge. That's a challenge that we're seeing, especially in the private school arena, because now you've got to, private or public doesn't matter, but I'm saying you're paying the tuition for a private school, and I'm telling you this firsthand. And now you've got to take the time out of your day to teach a child as well, which is great and novel at the beginning, but essentially at some point you have to get back to work. So now you have to hire somebody to teach your child, and you're paying a school tuition on top of that. So again, not to get too personal, but in my case, you're paying tuition for the school, the history, the learning, the interaction, and although they're doing a great job with Zoom, and they're doing a great job driving by and stopping by people's homes and waving from afar, it's still not the same experience whatsoever. And I'm fortunate to have people that support me, that are able to help with that. But some people don't have that. So if somebody's a single parent and they have to then teach their child and try and support for their family, it's very challenging. So I don't know how that's going to work. And the last thought on that is some people don't learn well from home. Some people don't learn well online. They learn well in one-to-one interaction. So that's got to be challenging as well. Again, luckily my daughter's excelling and doing great, embracing all this, but I'm sure some children are having a lot of challenges, just time management and everything, right? It's just not.
Yeah, it's
the same.
It's changed. They not only have to adapt to that kind of change, but change in their life as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also a consideration for bringing employees back. As you decide which employees to bring back first, you need to take into account what's their situation with their children. Are their children's, are they back in school, or do they still need to be at home, and do they have childcare arrangements? Sure. And so it's a complicated process.
Well, it's all World 2.0 now, right, Bennett? It's questioning, I'm going to see Bennett. So who did Bennett see in the past, 2 weeks? And exactly. who have they seen? And all of a sudden you're becoming a detective to try and figure out who people have seen, what they've done. And it's going to be an ongoing challenge. It really is, and it's ironic because, up until late, you couldn't even go to a beach. You could still go to Costco, but you couldn't go to a beach,
Right. So now you can go to a beach, but you can't stay there. You just have to swim and leave.
It's very odd.
Well, awesome. This is a great show. Kevin, it's hard to believe. Episode number 9. We knocked it out of the park, man, with some great guests and stuff. And coming back next week with episode number 10. Again, great guests. So glad that you're out there and bringing people in and stuff. And it's really made a difference in the quality of the show. We're really getting some good ratings, aren't we?
Yeah, we're at 42 Apple Podcast 5 stars already. Some really great reviews. I'll read some in the next segment we're running out of time. Nice 5 stars there, Bennett.
That's great. I like that.
But yeah, we're getting great sharing. Our video last week on YouTube, last I looked, had over 9,000 views. So people are really watching it and sharing it, and it's really good info. So, we're doing it just to help everybody out.
I'm getting people that are contacting me about the show.
Great.
And, if people are seeing it through my sources and stuff like that,
sure.
People are really out there seeing it. I'm talking about people I haven't seen for 10 years and parts of my family and stuff like that.
Great. Great. Well, we just updated internetmarketingkings.com. So we now have a contact us where people can apply to become a speaker or a guest. We're also going to be expanding our show notes with detailed recap of what's on the show, including all the links that we spoke about, because a lot of times we move very fast, and when we move fast, just as like Neil threw out a link just to clarify so people can go back as a point of reference, or anything that the big dog talks about, that they can go back and say, that was really interesting. I want to see that study. We can put it up there as well so they can reference it.
All right. Well, this was kind of cranked out show number 9. Next week, show number 10. Again, great guests, and I'm broadcasting.
Kyle Solarud next week. Yeah, he's awesome.
What's
excited
that?
to talk to him. I said Kyle Solarud is next week.
Yep.
He's really excited to talk to him. He's
He's
really smart marketer.
So as I was saying, we've been broadcasting from the campus of UNLV here in Las Vegas. As you can tell behind me, things are starting to open up quite a bit. We hope it's opening up for you. Again, we're going to keep doing this. Want your comments, want your 5 stars, and want you back as a viewer and or a guest. So from Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm the Big Fabu, John Fondi. We'll see you on show number 10.